Okay, so we're in the home of Chef Joe Lococo. And Joe, what's the occasion today?
Today we're celebrating Sophia's 30th birthday.
All right, Sophie. Now tell us, folks at home, who Sophie is. I know her, but folks at home may not.
Sophia's mine and Kendall's daughter.
And Kendall is your wife, I take
Wife
it.
Kendall. And
right.
she is, well, Sophia is on her way right now. She's flying up. She lives in Southern California. She lives in an area called Playa Vista.
Playa Vista. Okay, I love
Which
that.
is near Venice and Santa Monica. And anyway, she's at the Santa Rosa airport right now, and she's taking Uber.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Now, Joe, there's a beautiful pig to your left. Does he or she have a name?
No.
No, just a nice
I
table.
don't know, unless Kendall named. Kendall, did you name this little pig
Little pig on the counter?
on the counter?
Nope. Now, Joe, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slabs of ribs. Is that?
Yeah, this 6 is too many.
Hey, let me tell you, Joe ended up cooking all the ribs, and everyone got eaten. They were fabulous. 6 is too many. Okay.
So we're gonna have 2. I'm gonna make 4.
Now, today we're having a dinner, and to your right is this gorgeous young man named
Jordan.
Chef Jordan. Tell us now, you are in charge today. Am I taking that?
Yeah, I'm here on the assist.
Okay.
Done quite a bit of North African cuisine. My dad is Moroccan, so Joe's doing a little bit of a North African themed dinner tonight.
All right.
So I'm just here to help out. With
Help
some
back
things.
up. I love it. I love it. Now, for
I'm
those
gonna
folks.
change it up a little bit because every time we do a party here, it's always Italian. So I thought, let's mix it up a little bit.
I love it.
And I asked Jordy if he would come over because he has a lot of experience cooking North African food, and so we asked him to come over and help us today.
Right.
So the menu is the first item on our list is the Tunisian lamb and eggplant.
Is that what I'm smelling so good in the house today, Joe?
Yes,
The
And that's-
Tunisian lamb.
and that's in the oven right now.
Oh, I love
It's
it.
going
I
to take
love
about
it.
3 hours.
I love it. And then, Jordan, what's the next course? Can you help us run through the menu?
I'm just doing some couscous and some vegetables.
Couscous vegetables. Now, tell a little bit about couscous, Jordan. I've worked with it before. However, I'm not going to say I'm an expert with couscous.
Yeah.
Is it a grain? Is it a what's?
No, it's actually a pasta. It's a durum wheat, it's semolina, and it's actually just a pasta product.
I love it. Can you show me that so for the folks at home? And couscous cooks relatively easy, right?
Yeah, very much so. Everything we get here in the States is instant or dried. So when it leaves the factory, it's already partially cooked.
Okay.
So you really just kind of steep it in liquid and then put a lid on it, let it sit and hydrate itself, and then you fluff it up.
I love
You can
that.
add whatever you want to.
So now I'm going to go back again for the folks at home. When you say steep it, like making a glass of tea or a cup of tea, right?
Yeah,
So we're going to
similar.
steep it,
Just
steep
bring
it.
a liquid. It could be water. We're going to do some broth today.
Okay.
Just bring it up to temp and just pour it over and then cover it and just let it sit.
I love. All right. Well, I am putting this on autopilot. So, and I'll wash my hands, chefs. Tell me what
I think they're going to be a little surprised.
Yeah.
They're going to come here expecting
Expecting Italian.
lasagna or
Right.
something like that.
May I wash my hands here, Joe?
Yeah.
So I believe the term mise en place is a French term, right? That means make ready or something like that.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Yeah.
Everything in its place.
Everything in its place. It's a pretty cool word, right? Mise en place. Is there any Italian equivalent to that, Joe?
Yeah, there was. I have to think about it.
No worries. Hey, there's no. This is just for. Hey, Jordan.
Yeah.
The biggest meal you've ever made? Can I ask that question? What's the most you served at one time, or?
Probably 500 or so.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
It's a Chefs of Marin event.
Oh,
Years
wow.
ago, we were there, representing our restaurant.
Wow.
Chefs of Marin. Chefs
Yeah,
of Marin.
I think it was the Fireman's.
Oh, wow.
Is that what that was?
Yeah. And so all these chefs got together and cooked.
Yeah, it was put on so everybody came from their
Oh.
restaurants, and then they showed up, and then they did a couple dishes that kind of spoke to what you served at the restaurant. I was working at Sausalito, so
I think that is that one of the things that Brad Alkin put together?
possibly. I don't know. I know it was long standing before I was there.
Yeah.
It must be gone now. I haven't. Is that still happening here? Anyone know?
I don't think it is. You know, when I was at Joe Lococo's in Greenbrae, before they had Chefs of Marin, they had great chefs cooking in great homes.
Oh wow!
So they would pair up the chefs in Marin County and find the most beautiful homes in Marin, and they would do these dinners. And
But that was cool.
yeah, that was cool.
Well, Joe, your house is one of the beautiful homes in Marin. I love this kitchen, man.
Thank you. Yeah, this is
Did you design this or did Kimball?
Becky.
Oh, Becky.
Becky designed it, but we told her what we wanted.
Right.
We definitely wanted the chef's kitchen. We wanted to be able to entertain here. So what can we do to make it easier to entertain? So
Right.
first thing we thought about 2 dishwashers
Yep.
and 2 sinks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
It would take me a week to clean up,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
one dishwasher.
For those of you in the back there, the wonderful sounds of Miss Kendall Lococo. We got to get her mic'd up at some point so that we can hear her. She's adding to our conversation. So Jordan, you.
I don't think she needs a mic.
No, no. Is that voices? What's the song? Voices Carry. Voice. I love that. Hey, gentlemen, I want to ask you, chefs. I'm looking at the sage, right? And I think of sage like as kind of a poultry seasoning because as a kid, my mom would always use sage with a poultry.
Yeah.
So, any other thoughts about we're using it with pork today? What when you think of sage, what do you think about it as far as an herb and added flavor? Any hints you can give me as a chef and other folks that are watching us with the sage?
No, I think of it as going well with a white meat.
Okay.
Which would include poultry, but it goes well with veal as well.
And
because
rabbit.
Veal saltimbocca with mozzarella prosciutto and sage. So it goes well with pork and I think veal and poultry.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
How about with seafood? Any ideas? Can we ever try to
I think
mix
it's a bit
sage?
heavy for seafood.
Yeah. Okay. Now, when I like to strip the leaves off, but how about the stems? Now that to me,
I usually take the stems off.
stems off. Okay. Because that's normally what I do as well. So, folks, again, we're here with Chef Joe Lococo and Chef Jordan. Jordan, your last name again is?
Ziani.
Ziani with the Z, everyone, right? Or as they say in Africa, Zed.
Yeah. So getting back to Mumunia, that was the first place I had roasted chicken with preserved lemons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, it was so delicious. And the chicken tastes so lemony with those preserved lemons. But some of the other dishes that, when you ordered an entree, it came with several accompaniments. So do you remember what those accompaniments were?
Yeah, I mean, you probably remember the bread baskets.
The bread baskets,
Unique,
yeah.
but yeah, you made fresh
Well, first
bread
you go in there
every
and
day.
then you wash your hands.
Oh, wow.
Because you're eating with bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wash your hands and then they pour you a jasmine
mint tea.
or mint tea.
Yeah.
They pour you a mint tea. And then all these courses would come out. One of them was that phyllo dough, stuff with, what was it, stuff with
Oh, that's pastilla.
pastilla?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a pretty unique dish. Traditionally, it's pigeon. So it's kind of a pigeon pie. It has eggs. The bright flavors that really come out is the cinnamon, chopped nuts, and obviously the phyllo gives it a really nice.
And they
crunch,
had
but
powdered sugar on top too.
powdered sugar and cinnamon over the top. So
Yeah.
it's really.
I want to back us up. That pigeon pie. Now, I know pigeon was a delicacy in Paris back in the 40s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, but it kind of died out. Have you ever? I've never eaten pigeon. Joe, have you ever had pigeon?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
It's very, very strong flavor. It's mostly dark meat.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's mostly
Yeah,
dark meat.
swab.
Swab,
What we
yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
Swab is just
Is-
pigeon, but yeah, it's like any kind of game bird, kind of like quail. You know, the meat like dove. You know, it's all. For most people, it's about having a nice breast, cooked rare, so it doesn't bring out that sort of unctuous livery quality. But the darker parts, like the legs and thighs, you know, raise them.
Well, it's funny. As a kid, I loved the dark meat on the chicken, right? Or the poussin, the small birds, right? I love that. Now, as I mature, because we don't get old, right? I'm kind of leaning more towards the white meat. I don't know why. You know, I don't know what happens with my taste
Yeah,
buds.
your taste buds change. Yeah.
Right? How about you, Joe? Any, you still just like all of
Well-
He's young, Joe.
Yeah, like you said, we're always changing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I've traditionally always been a dark meat fan, but
Yeah.
you know, I
But it-
embrace it. I mean, obviously, I like breast meat when it's done properly
Yeah.
versus overcooked.
Yeah.
But and I think that's kind of the issue with it is most people don't. Also, in the States, especially, people are a little scared of undercooking it.
True,
Right? And
true.
so I think that does it a little injustice because it's generally cooked all the way through.
Yeah.
Not saying I
Dries it
like
out.
the pink in the middle,
Right.
but I definitely like to rest it.
Mhm.
So I put a nice sear on the outside and then, let it sit for about 10 minutes kind of covered and then it finishes the cooking process.
The folks at home hear that, we're gonna sear it, let it sit for 10 minutes because that residual cooking really brings it up to temperature, right, Chef?
Yeah, carryover cooking.
And carryover cooking. You know, I'm having so much fun here, guys. So if I start talking too much, Joe, and not enough chopping, say, Curtis, shut up and cook, right? Shut up and chop, right? We're gonna blend these together, right, Joe?
What time is it? 2 o'clock?
2 o'clock,
Oh, we
yeah.
have time.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Kendall, do you have time to pick a few lemons? Maybe about 5 or 6.
So at some point before the day's over, I gotta go out and show you all at home Joe's orchard. He's got, what are we growing? Lemons?
We've got Eureka lemons, Meyer lemons. We have regular limes, sweet limes. It
Wow.
looks like a lime, but it's yellow. We have
That they call, some people call it the Mexican lime, but
Yeah.
yeah.
kaffir.
Yeah. Oh, you got a kaffir lime as well?
Yeah.
That's the one from Israel, right?
Yeah.
They
And
use
we
most
have
of
we have a blood orange, cara orange,
Oh,
grapefruit.
and they all do well here,
And-
Joe?
Yeah, and then we have, I don't know if you noticed up at the tree up by the pool is ponderosa lemons.
Oh,
They're
man.
the ones that look like
Yeah, the big, huge ones, right?
grapefruits.
Wow. No, I've gotta go check that one out.
Yeah.
Oh, here she is. Oh, wow, just when it started raining.
Sophia's
Sophia,
here.
aw.
Oh, what is this?
It's a birthday girl.
That's right.
All right, Chef Lococo, I've got a close-up on you and that's beautiful 6 slabs of ribs. And you're doing, what were those beautiful lemons there?
Oh, I'm zesting them.
Okay?
We're gonna mix that in with the sage and the rosemary and the garlic.
Okay. Chef Jordan, what's next on your hit parade?
I just gotta parse out some broth for the couscous and
Okay.
keep chopping up some veg with the Romanesco setup here with the colander or steamer. Steam the veg. Start a Persian yogurt, cucumber, dill dip to go with the lavash.
That's kind of one of those signature Mediterranean dishes, right? That cucumber dip. Am I? Yeah.
Yeah.
What all goes into that?
Yeah, we have fresh dill. The yogurt itself, in this case, Joe got some labneh. So it's like a really thick strained yogurt. And just fresh herbs. Maybe put a little bit of chopped green onion, obviously salt, pepper. You got some pomegranate seeds. Maybe put some of those on there.
Now, in the center of the table, gentlemen, I see this beautiful aubergine.
Oh yeah.
What's that gonna?
Well, we're gonna cube those, and we're gonna sprinkle with salt and let them sit for about half an hour to remove the bitter juices.
Gotcha.
And then we're gonna fry them in batches, set them aside, and then just before the lamb stew is finished, we're going to mix this in with the lamb stew.
Would you like me to get those cubed up, Chef?
Sure.
Move the stems in. A lot of folks at home know. Be careful when you buy eggplants. A lot of times the little thorn is sticking out, so be careful. Most grocery stores they remove that though. However, in the backyard,
Do they?
oh yeah, most of them do. A lot of times, the farmer's market, you'll find the thistle is
Yeah.
still on there.
Yeah.
And remember, eggplant is one of that nightshade family. So those of you that have that, and Joe and I talk about this a lot of times, the geographic tongue.
Yeah.
Be careful, right, Joe?
Yeah. Burns.
That burns.
Does it cost something or just
Well,
you have it
It irritates it.
It irritates, yeah.
And I don't know what causes the geographic climate.
Well, they say it's eating foods that aren't native to the area that you're from, right? So like, you know, and it's funny because eggplant is a Mediterranean item, right? So those of us in a Mediterranean climate, we should be, you know, geographically okay. Ooh,
Yeah.
everybody, Chef Lococo is rubbing the herbs onto the ribs. So Joe, we've got a mixture of sage, garlic,
Rosemary, salt, pepper, and lemon zest.
oh, lemon zest. Wow, that's kind of a secret ingredient, right?
Yeah.
Lemon zest.
Yeah. But you know, it flavors the meat so much that you don't need a sauce.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and also with that lemon help to like the lemon zest also helps keep the ribs nice and moist.
Yeah. So what do you have in your garden right now?
Right now, my garden at home, I only have onions. I've got a leftover tomato plant that keeps producing tomatoes.
Still?
Can you believe it? Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I'm getting tomatoes, and it's just something I just leave it, right? And
Yeah.
it's doing quite well. This year I won't plant as much because I've got the garden down in Sausalito,
Right.
on Marin City.
Yeah. What do you have there? Do you have any winter
Well,
vegetables?
We're gonna get some starts going right now because of all the rain. It's so wet.
Yeah.
That we're gonna start things indoors with the kids. And I've asked the kids, like, what would they like to do? Our first project is I've asked the kids to research flowers that they can plant, or we can get started now, and bloom by Mother's Day, so the children can make bouquets
Oh,
at
that's
home.
nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
and on that same vein, we're gonna take and also start thinking about our garden, and the idea being that, you know, a lot of things we won't be able to harvest before school is out. However, we will be able to run a farmer's market, and the money from the farmer's market can go to buy more equipment for the
Oh,
kids. in
that's
the garden.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to come down to the farmer's
Love
market.
it. So you're using sea salt, right, Joe?
I'm using the
Chef-
kosher sea salt.
Kosher sea salt, okay. We've got a rabbi approved,
Yeah.
and everybody, Joe's lovely wife Kendall is making a flower arrangement. I'm gonna get a quick shot of that, Joe, so excuse me
Sure.
while I pan to Kendall's flower arrangement. And Kendall, since you're not mic'd up, I'm going to talk them through. Can you tell us what's on your arrangement today, Kendall?
Oh my gosh, they're a type of lily. They're just so delicate and beautiful, kind of
Yeah.
baby pink, because we have a whole pink, rose, gold theme
All
going
right.
in here for Sophia. And
With these ribs.
Well, we had enough garlic and sage and rosemary to
good.
do all 6 slabs.
6 slabs. Now, Joe, once you put those in the oven, how long are you gonna cook them for?
Well, so I'm gonna double wrap them.
you know what?
I'm gonna cut them in half and double wrap them in aluminum foil,
Okay.
and I'm gonna seal them really well, and then I'm gonna cook them at 500 degrees for an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
And that's it.
that's it. And then I'm gonna take them out, put them on a sheet pan, and then put them back in the oven just before I serve.
Love it. Okay,
Right.
cool. I love that. So that high heat, we
Yeah.
cook them and then back on, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get a close up. All right. I love eggplant. All right, everyone. So you see, that's the size the chef wants those. And again, we're gonna put salt on it to drain the bitterness out, and then we're gonna roast them, Joe, or saute them. The
Yeah, I'm
eggplant.
not sure yet. I think we're gonna saute them,
Okay.
and then put them aside on a little
Just let them rest.
paper, let them rest, let them drain,
Okay.
let some of the fat drain.
All right, so now Chef Lococo's slicing that 6 slabs of ribs into half, and he's taking his time, and all those beautiful spices, sage, garlic, rosemary, and that lemon zest. Now here he is double wrapping, double foil wrapping to seal that heat in. So these ribs will be steamed with that beautiful sauce. Let me tell y'all, folks, I didn't do a great job taking pictures of the finished product, but the flavor of these ribs were the bomb. Look at that. All right, now everyone, while I was talking with Chef Jordan, Chef Joe put the ribs in 500 degrees. And they're gonna cook for an hour, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe. Now I'm gonna get a close up on your fingers. If you walk me through those herbs whenever you're ready.
Yeah. So starting off with the larger pile here, this is Ras Al Hanout. This is just a sort of spice medley. So, traditionally each home will have their own version, which is basically a different set of ratios, usually of the same spices. This one I like. I find it convenient because it has some star anise, a little bit of fennel, so it gives it, I want to say like holiday spice flavor, but very traditional with Moroccan. And then for some nice color, a little bit of earthy tone, paprika also for color, ground ginger, fresh ground coriander, a little bit of cumin, and a little pinch of fenugreek leaves.
Now you were saying the fenugreek leaf is not truly a Mediterranean
Not Moroccan per se, but it's something I use from a lot of Persian cooking.
Right.
And I've just come to really love the flavor. It's not entirely discernible, but it just gives kind of I almost describe it as like a maple kind of quality. It just really rounds the flavors, softens them, gives them more body. So I always like to use a little pinch of that as well.
And one of the things I love, Chef, and you tell me what your thoughts too, is like the aroma, the aromatics of those. I mean, the room, we just smell that. Although that beautiful lamb is going, I can still smell these herbs, these spices, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of Joe said something like a holiday, kind of a holiday feel to it.
Yeah. I mean, some of those flavors like, allspice, clove.
Yeah.
We put a lot of that in our baked goods, but, it's also well suited for savory dishes like this.
I love it. Thank you, Chef.
Yeah, of course.
Good stuff. So everyone, Chef Jordan is heating the olive oil to make the...
So it's just making like kind of a simple sauce, looking for just huge aromatic profile to really kind of jazz up the vegetables that we're going to be having. So I'll start off with our spice mix in the warm oil, then I'll kind of soften up some onions and garlic, and then finish it with our mix of fresh herbs. So we have mint, green onion, cilantro, parsley, and then just kind of thin it out with some broth. Just do a nice
little chicken broth there, right?
Yeah.
And if someone is like strictly vegetarian, it's okay to use vegetable broth, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's so many other flavors going on here that you can absolutely do with that.
So now we've got the warm oil. So you're thinking, how high do you think you're gonna get that? Maybe.
Not very hot. I'm not looking for like smoking temp or anything. Just enough to kind of let the seasoning blossom, and then get the garlic kind of softened up and going and everything, and then just kind of sweat the onions, and then that's basically it. I'm not going for extremely bright with the aromatics, so I'll have kind of almost like a stew backbone to it.
You said a term, and for the folks at home, you said sweat the onions. Can you extrapolate?
Sweating is just cooking them through till they're nice and soft, without caramelizing, without getting any color on them.
Okay.
Really not going for that with this particular dish.
Gotcha. I love that. So, folks at home, remember that sweating, we're just going to releasing the flavors, right? And to caramelize, that's when all those sugars start to transform, right? When you start seeing it brown up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chef.
More often than not, I would say that's a flavor profile people are looking to develop, as they're layering flavors, it just adds that nice.
All right, now Chef is just going to cook those beautiful spices on that low heat. He added the onions, and that lowers heat, so you have to raise it just a little bit. He's going to add his chicken broth a little later, along with those herbs, and the sauce is coming together gorgeously. Beautiful. So Chef Jordan has measured out the broth to bring to a boil so he can steep the couscous. Joe and I are getting the eggplant ready for sauteing. It's getting to near crunch time, so as you can see, I've speeded it up. Now that beautiful aubergine that Chef Lococo and I chopped up He's simply going to saute it in a lot of olive oil. Just olive oil adds a lot of flavor. Eggplant's one of those things that absorb the flavors of what it's cooked with. Then we're going to let it rest on some paper towel to drain that oil. Nice. That's beautiful. Thank you, sir. All right. As Joe's finishing up eggplant, we're going to go over and take a look at what Chef Jordan's got going. So the dips, will that be this crudité, Chef, or is it? We're not cooking these at all, correct? It's just gonna be.
No, I am cooking these.
Oh, you are?
These
Okay.
are going to be served with the couscous.
Ah,
this is kind
nice.
of a separate appetizer type dip going on. Just a little riff on a Persian side dish of mustakiyar.
Now, Chef Jordan, who's making this couscous, is truly a work of art. I want to have him back on the show, and we're just going to make and talk about couscous. Chef Joe is taking the ribs out of the oven. Oh, wow. Man. Smells like heaven. Oh, wow. It just is so tender, Joe. It's just like, Folks at home, you see how flaky that just breaks up? Oh. Happy birthday, Sophia. Hope you had as much fun as we have created the meal for you. Hummus. There's that beautiful yogurt dip that Chef made. We got some other things on the table as well. Now here comes those beautiful ribs. Oh, they were so tender. The flavor was outstanding. The couscous coming up next with that roasted lamb on top. Slow roasted lamb. And then finally that beautiful vegetable medley with that herb sauce.
Joe and Kendall, when I graduated culinary school, they got me one of my first professional knives, right?
Wow.
Henkel's. So this was my go-to for all those years.
You hear this, Joe? That's one of the knives we
the
get.
knife that you guys got me. And I was over sharpening, right?
Oh, you
So
were.
you can see what I did is like it's lost its bevel, right?
yeah.
So when you mince, for instance, there's like a high spot here, so it doesn't get it. I wound up grinding down here. I ground this edge off to make it a little bit more comfortable. But yeah, that's what I'm saying is I used to sharpen this too often.
Too much, right?
So I removed too much material. And you get to a point, again, when you have a high spot here, to maintain that bevel, you know, this and this have to be like the high points.
Of the night, yeah.
So to compensate for this, I would have to take it up to here. So now I just kind of avoid it from mincing things.
I love it. All right, can you walk us through your blades, the sizes, and